All right, so we are working on the counterbalances for the aileron. So you can see that I have one aileron that is suspended right at the hinge point. So you can see I have a lead weight that I have cut and drilled, and it extends so that it weighs the same amount from the hinge line this way as the entire aileron does this way. So there are a couple of reasons why you would want balanced control surfaces such as ailerons. One is that it will make the controls feel a little bit lighter. You don't have to, once you're moving faster in an aircraft, it can sometimes be a little bit hard to move your control surfaces. So if you have them balanced, it becomes a little bit easier than to pull all of that weight into that oncoming wind. So this is what the plans call for. And I can tell you that it was not fun having to drill these holes through the lead. So included in this is we have this big lead block. So basically what we want to do is cut this to the dimensions shown in the plans, and then that gets bolted in to that little arm on the aileron. Okay, so instead of the bandsaw, I found that my chop saw will work a little bit better. So you can see lead is real easy. It's nice and soft, so you can scratch a cut line into it. So I found that if you just get a scrap piece of plywood like this, the lead seems to be heavy enough that you can kind of just be real careful and hold it down with your fingers. So just line it, take your time and line it up, and then hold it with your fingers. So nice and slow. And that puts a pretty good cut on it. You can see this is probably from it heating up a little bit, but I found that works a little bit easier than the bandsaw. So this is what happens when you drill lead. It'll focus here. I have broken off, this is I think the third drill bit. It is such a pain to drill these holes. So my only advice is to go slow. Luckily this one was most of the way through when it broke off, so I think I'm going to be able to kind of tap on this bolt from the other side to get this guy out. But yeah, it's not very fun. All right, so basically what we're after here, according to the plans, is we want the trailing edge to be equal to up to a ½ inch above the leading edge of the aileron. So I think the way that I'm gonna check this, since I only care about front to back, is I'm just gonna measure from the floor up. So right there we are at, let's see, 40, and it looks like about 40 and 3/8. And right here we are at 40 and 3/8. So we are level right there. It's swinging just a little bit. But you can see that if I kind of move it like this, and remember we're suspended from the hinge point. So this is the point that it's going to be rotating from. So it is very light, which is exactly what you want. So it seems to be within spec according to what the plans say. So I'm gonna check the other side and then we can install it back on the wing and see what it looks like. Okay, we are finished up with aileron number 2. We have it right here. I have just checked the measurements. We are essentially the exact same as the other one, so that makes me happy. Some quick lessons learned for those that are doing this in the future, or just for anyone interested. This time around, I did not break any drill bits. What I did is I ended up just going straight to the final hole size of 3/16. I didn't do any pilot holes, and that seemed to make the holes go a lot easier. It was weird for me. It was a little scary. I like to drill pilot holes where possible, especially in metal and coming from both sides where you want both sides to line up. But just skipping right to the end and going 3/16 seemed to do the trick, and that worked a lot better. But still, I can't stress enough, go slow, like way slower than you would even think. If you feel it start to kind of catch, then back off. You kind of have to go in reverse and then go forward, and just take it real slow, and also kind of drill halfway on one side and then halfway on the other side and meet in the middle, and your holes will line up relatively easily. So yeah, we will get these installed in the airplane and see how they feel. So here's a helpful tip that I have learned if you are dealing with these long piano hinges. You'll have to more than likely take them out and install them a bunch. So something that helps is that if you chuck them up in your drill and just kind of spin them as you push them up in, they tend to kind of go in a lot easier. So you can see that I just have it kind of chucked in the drill here. I'm just gonna check on it, make sure we are aligned as we go up. Just a little bit of WD-40 on there as well. That'll help. Just like that. Okay, so moving under the wing, we can see there's a little attachment. So I don't know if I will be able to bend those, but you can see the nuts kind of hit. So I might need to slot out a little bit more of this. And then the other thing that is interesting, if you can see up in there, is my lead weight hits the top skin of the wing. So I don't know if that is allowed or if that's great. Another thing that we need to check is the control deflection angle. So I believe for the ailerons, it's 12 degrees down and like 25 degrees up. So we need to kind of verify that. But once we get that sorted, I might even switch the direction of these bolts so they're going that way, and then kind of cut out. But then there's this fairing that gets installed just like that, so we're not out in the wind. So that will be installed at the very end. Yeah, it looks like we have One working aileron, working-ish. It doesn't have the full movement because our bolts are hitting this side here, but it will be.